Oh, there we are. We're back for Sunday Night Teacher Talk. And we have a guest.
Hi.
Want to say your name? Don't say your last name. Just say your first name.
Sebastian.
All right. And you're 47?
No, I'm 9.
Oh, okay. That's right. 47, 9. It's close. Seb is our nephew, and he's with us today. And so I asked him if he wanted to be on. And so I have a question that I think would be a good question to hop off with. What's something you wish was better about school? So 9 years old, you're in third grade?
Yes, I'm in 3rd grade.
Okay. So what do you wish was better about school?
If like school started a bit later.
Oh, all right. Because you're too tired in the morning?
Yeah.
Are you up all night gaming?
No, not all night. Just
Okay.
Most of the day.
Okay. And then what do you wish your teachers knew better about you? Does that make sense? Does that question make sense? What do you wish they knew about you? Like who you are, or how you learn, or what you need? What do you think they don't know?
Like.
Does that make sense, that question?
No.
No? So like.
Remember the other day we were talking and you said we were talking about school and you said that you wish you could get up and move more. Like move around like it's hard to sit still all day long.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Yes.
So do you wish you could just like get around, like it was more recess, or it was more like being able to like do some wiggling or something like that?
More like wiggling-ish.
Wiggling? I never literally said wiggling in my life, I think, like that. That was the first time.
Because you're clearly pretty wiggly.
You are. Are you watching yourself?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hey, man. Thanks for coming on, buddy. All right. Are you going to go play some video games now while we do this?
No, I'm just going to watch a video.
You're going to?
All right.
Okay, cool. Well, have fun. All right. Don't leave the dog in here with me.
Okay.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, all right.
That's
okay. Just close the door, babe. All right. There's that. So Seb was helping me set up because he always wants to know what Uncle CJ's doing in his office. And so he'll just come in, and so he helped me set up. And then I was like, do you want to be on real quick? And he said, yes. So yeah. So I thought I would let him. I probably should ask his mom about that. But anyway, this was an interesting week. I got to go to a conference, which was the ACSI conference, which is like a conference for like Christian educators. And it's very interesting. There was 2 really good keynotes that were there. One guy, so I never got to put the newsletter out last week because I was away. And if I'm not here, it just throws everything off. But I'm going to mention the guy that I saw in this week's newsletter. He talked about joy, curiosity, getting kids excited. And he's one of those dudes that it just like exuded from. He just was an excited educator and just came through in his talk. So it was really fun. I'm really glad that he was able to be there. And so, yeah, I'm going to put him in the newsletter this week. So if you want to find out more about that kind of thing, and maybe that's just something you need right now. Maybe you're not even feeling joyful in the classroom right now. Maybe you're not feeling a sense of hope or excitement or anything like, but that is what just happened.
Uh-oh.
Did this die?
Sorry, can you all still hear us? Oh, there we go.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Okay, let's see. Anybody, are we frozen? Oh, it says you are back, but are we frozen?
Yeah.
On our screen, it's frozen. We're frozen. I don't know what's happening. Chris says we're frozen.
Oh gosh.
Can you hear us? Oh, they can still hear us. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, weird. What a great freeze. We look fantastic.
Yeah, that was good. I don't know what to do except for change the camera and just have it be.
Did the camera, is it not working? Is it died?
No, it's, I mean, it's possible.
Okay, guys, sorry. Hold on.
Leave your hand in there. Yeah, it's all here.
It says we can hear you, but we're frozen. All right, hang on. We're trying to fix it. I don't know what's happening. We're trying to use our new, like, it's not new, but our DJI camera that CJ uses for content as our camera for the show. And I don't know, last week it was sound issues, which we figured out. Chris said that he could hear us. The sound was really great. And now the video is conking out. So we're trying to figure out the tech behind all that. This is weird because everyone can hear us, but they can't see us.
I know. Let's do this.
Tristan said we could keep it going if the video is like that. Whoa, now you have a whole new... Are you going to try and just use that camera?
No. I'm going to try and switch it up. But I thought if I switched off of that for a second, maybe it would...
Reload. Oh, Tristan says it's working now. But you can see our like light in it, right? It's a different angle.
All right. I think
it says now we're moving. I think it's just buffering. Like...
No, there should be no buffer. It's because it's wired in. There's no buffer. It should happen immediately.
You're back with the new camera. But is this weird?
Right.
But it's frozen on our... I don't even know. We can't do it like this. Froze again. Yes, it was frozen. Can you hook it back up to the DJI camera?
That's what this is what happens when the DJI is said to be on there.
Oh.
So I don't
yeah,
know why
so they
that's
can
not.
see the different angle. It says different angle and frozen again, and now Tristan says good again.
I don't know why it's not.
I don't know.
So this is on. I can see it. It's wired into the computer. Nothing's changed.
Can you unplug
Unless
it?
I guess I could.
I mean,
Oh, that's
you know, that's what they say for tech. And just unplug it and plug it back in. But there's nothing out there. Just lay down. Oh my gosh, a million distractions today. All right, y'all can still hear us though.
So maybe we're just doing this
with audio
this week. So let me try and switch this one more time. Because I don't want to sit here and try and figure out this.
All right, well, the camera's back.
All right, so either way, if the camera stays back, we're good. If not, we're going just audio. Because I'd rather help people than
not.
They hear me than not help people.
No,
and
it looks
they
like,
won't see me anymore.
Look, Tech 101, unplug it and plug it back in, and it always seems to do it. That worked.
All right, the kids are gone.
Holy smokes.
The dog is settled. Sebastian's been in here. All right.
I think we're good.
The podcast will start right now. Sorry about that, everyone.
Are you
Go
ready
ahead,
to
love.
jump in a question?
Yeah, let's do it. We've been on here for 10 minutes.
What's that? How do you say that name?
Graham in Vegas.
Oh, sometimes when it's all squished together, my brain just doesn't read it all.
Sorry.
Okay, Graham is up asking, thank you for helping us. I'm ready to move on from my school. We've grown in ACT proficiency each year, but my EOI reviews weren't great. What can I do to show an admin I'm a good hire? Oh, that's end of year.
So one of the things I really... That's a good question, Graham. I'm trying to think of like how I might communicate that.
Can you ask your current school, like, do you have clarification on why your end of year reviews aren't great? Like, what are they looking at that they're...
I think that's one.
makes it not great, right?
That's a good point, because what that's going to do is help you to see if that's stuff that's actually important to you or not, or if that's something you can get better at or not. I had a review recently that was good, but it wasn't like, there were certain parts that I got knocked on, and I had to sit there and tell them, like, well, that's because you came in for a single 50-minute class. Like, you didn't see what led up to it. You didn't see what came after it. You didn't see what we were doing later in the week. And as I was talking to them, I remember they were like, oh, well, that actually, like, then we can check these boxes off because we didn't realize that that was what was going to happen. And so it's like, yeah, I'm not putting on a performance for 50 minutes. This isn't my greatest hits. It's like, no, you're coming in during a lesson that I'm doing. I'm not going to put on a special performance for you like I know other teachers do. But so to me, it's, Alex Hormozy has this idea where it's sort of like, you have to operate out of confidence. And how do you build confidence is by building a stack of undeniable proof. And I think it's sitting with that, Graham, sitting with, what are the stories that wouldn't come up? And like, because end of the year review is going to it's just, here's my lesson from beginning to end. And was it like, quote unquote, good? But really, how are you connecting with students? How are you a value add for the school? What are you doing in classes that might not be seen, right? Like it might not show up in a review, but that there are certain kids in there that are doing better, behaving better. The fact that maybe they behaved while someone was in there observing you was huge, but no one knows that because they haven't been in here all year. So it's, I think, sitting down and doing an audit on yourself on what makes you a value add for a new school. And that's one list. And really, don't be humble about it. It's really like, here's all the lessons you did this year that were great. Here's all the moments that you had that were great. I did this with my class the other day, as a matter of fact. So as a class, we did it. And I said, here's all the cool stuff we did this year. What we have about roughly 50 days of actual class left, not counting like spring break and stuff like that, but actual class days, 50 of them left. What would make these awesome? And that was a great conversation. And so like that, I would ask you, like, what has made the first, 130 days awesome of school? After that, it's really considering, it's being honest with yourself and asking, like, what would make you a better teacher? What would make you more employable? What would make someone want to hire you? And really thinking about how you could grow in those skills as well. I just think that those are questions that you're going to be able to answer. And sometimes they're easier than others. Like, I know that I don't have a master's, I don't have a doctorate, and I feel like everybody does. Everybody's a doctor of something all of a sudden. It's like every conference I go to, I meet like 100 doctors there, or they have like multiple master's degrees, and I don't have any. Like, I don't want to make it sound, this sounds kind of silly, but like, I was really busy teaching and raising kids. Like, there's no way I could have fit a master's degree in there. Nor could I now, because I'm still raising kids, still teaching, and running a business. But I know that would make me more employable. I have to be honest with myself about that. So that I would ask myself those questions and see where that goes. And look, you might be the perfect fit for another school. You might be exactly what they're looking for. Because sometimes I think we do outgrow schools. We do outgrow, or we need better leadership. Or the thing that's going to unlock us next is being somewhere new. So it's not about, for folks that think about quitting or moving on or moving schools, sometimes that is the thing that unlocks the next best part of you. And I know that has happened to me, I feel like, every time I've switched. All 2 times.
I think that's true, right? You get to a point where you can only go so high, and for whatever reason, leadership, other things, it's like, nope, you need a new environment to give you the room to grow. And I think one of the things that was really important that you said that struck me was, it's like, don't be afraid to kind of like share your giftedness in the classroom with like whoever you're interviewing with. It's not conceited, it's not pompous, it's not thinking like you're awesome and everybody else isn't. It's sharing the goodness and the awesome that you bring
Yeah.
to a school community, a classroom community, like with other colleagues, like your excitement and energy for being an educator. And because that community in a school, like
Yeah.
amongst teachers, I think is more, it's as equally as important to the teaching too.
There's always this saying I loved that Henry Rollins said, where he said, you were born with a body that was a Porsche and you treat it like a beater car. And I think teachers often do that with their self-image as well. And if you are doing great things or even really good things, right? If you're selling a Porsche to a school, don't tell it about the trunk space, right? Like it's a Porsche, bro. What can it do? And then the other thing I would do, and I plan on doing this now, is like, I'm really thinking about those last 50 days of school and how am I going to send these kids off? Because I think I'm teaching 10th graders again next year in 11th grade. But I don't know if I'm teaching the 11th grade in 12th grade. I don't know if they're going to have me make that jump. Nor do I know if I want to do that jump. But I'm trying to think of like, how do I send these kids off with a bang? How do I make this the best rest of the year imaginable?
Yeah.
And it has to start now. And so as you're getting ready for the rest of the year, maybe you're trying to think about who you want to be in your next school. Start practicing that stuff now. Go super hard now. Go out with a bang now. And so that's some of what I would be thinking about.
Yeah. Okay. First, I just want to say thank you, Ruth, for your super chat.
Thanks, Ruth.
They're always so appreciated. Like, you don't even have a question in here yet, but we just thank you that you share like that with us.
You do that like every week.
Super
and I really
kind.
appreciate it.
Okay. Our next question is coming from Jack Attack. Should I consider a convo with my principal about teachers not feeling supported? It seems our schools, newer teachers have no real direction of being supported, so they don't know where to draw the line with classes. Our test scores are steadily dropping, and I feel this is why. 24 years and wanting help.
Yes. So, Jack, I would say my answer is yes. But in my experience, what works best is having some ideas around what we could do. And what's worked best in my experience, because sometimes administrators feel attacked or feel like there's this whole conversation going on that I didn't even know about. And like, they feel like they're being
or
like
it just makes
sucker
them
punched.
even feel like they're less than, or they're not doing a good job, even though you're not saying that. Like, it just can like dredge up all.
But when I had that one principal, tall white guy, that felt very attacking to him, even though we tried to go in with the gentlest of ways. Another thing that helped was going with answers. But I'd say the thing that worked the best was somebody else I worked with asked if we could do basically gather up teachers that were involved, that were interested. Like, so you get your stakeholders in a room, we sit in a circle, and you can't just complain. You have to be proactive. So here's a problem. What can we do as a solution? And admin were not a part of this conversation. We then went to admin with our findings and with these ideas, and that became a really healthy idea. I also had same principal that used to sit in a room, and what he started doing after that was saying, all right, what do you all got going on? What's the problem? Where do we need to fix this? Where do we need to get better? But I would say the other thing, Jack, is if you have a good relationship with the principal, it's going to work better. If you don't, what you want to do is bring in like it's not, I'm not saying you have to have a bad one, but if you don't even have if you guys don't talk about real stuff ever, maybe bringing someone that is that intermediary. And that's what I did. So I brought my friend Sarah, who got along with the principal great. They had a real friendship for years, even I think before he started teaching or before they were at the school. And so that helped bridge that, because it's sometimes not just what you're saying. not just how you're saying it, but it's who they think you are.
Yes.
And so it becomes like, who do you think you are to come in here? I'm in charge. It cannot feel like it's going to go that way, but it can go that way. So I brought in someone that was like able to
a buffer.
Yeah, like a cooler. Like it was like in
favorite
gambling.
movie.
So yeah, that's what I would consider doing. But I think, look, it's a good idea. I think it's going to the meeting, sending an immediate follow-up email. Hey, thanks so much for meeting today. Here's the stuff that we talked about. Here's the next action steps. I look forward to participating in any way that I can to make this better. And then keeping up on it. And admin have a lot going on. So it's making the action steps not as much on them, but about other people doing things where they can. So it's like delegating that and then following up. And I find that the person that follows up the most wins oftentimes. So yeah.
Dog.
Is he farting?
Yes, and it stinks in this tiny little room.
I can't smell.
I know.
And so this is a good day for me not to be able to smell.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
gosh.
Yeah. So there you go, Jack. That's how we're going to finish your question.
Great beard, by the way, if that's still current in your picture. He has a super long beard.
Nice.
Okay, Matt is up next asking, I have fifth grade classes for social studies that has a trouble talking during instructional time. I've gone over and model the correct behavior and expectations and still having issues. Any suggestions?
Yes. So, all right, Matt. I would say, I feel like I haven't seen your profile in a minute, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping, but it's nice to see you. To me, it's how do I need to do this differently, perhaps? So it's not always just about getting and I'm not saying you're doing this, but this is the language that I use talking to teachers. It's not about just kind of like pushing my instructional model on students. Is there a different way that we have to do this? So can I give instructions a different way? Can I convey the information in a different way? Can I chunk it and make it shorter? Can I, instead of doing just notes, can I do guided notes? Can I, and look, there's teachers out there that have a real problem with this because they think that kids should just learn to comply, learn to just, they're going to have to learn how to do this and all that sort of thing. But sometimes, especially when kids are younger, it's like even ninth graders, they have a hard time sitting still. They didn't grow up. They're not growing up in the same world that I maybe grew up in, where like you were told to sit down and shut up and you did it because you respected the teacher. There's all these other aspects that are a part of that. So I can either fight against, and I'm not saying you're doing this, but I feel like this is the common argument I get. I can either fight against who students are, or I can just figure out a model that works best for them. And so some of the shifts that I have are, and I've talked about this time and again, but it bears repeating, is timing kids on certain activities. It is conveying, it's like kids know you cannot talk while I'm giving instructions or when I am conveying, like, here's how you're going to do something, or here's the meat of the lesson that I need to convey. So like I'm doing an intro in a book or something, you are not allowed to talk, but my promise is that I'll keep it short. I never talk for more than 5, maybe 10 minutes at a time. Then we do something with that. Then we jump into the next thing that I'm instructing them on, and then we do something with that. So class is always moving quickly. So it's like there's not enough time to talk, because if you talk or if you're off task, you're just going to miss because we're just moving so quickly. I find that me shifting my instructional model helped. Now, the way that you're going to do this is try something, right? You could try a timer. You could try chunking. Like I said, you could try kids doing something on their own. Maybe you're not even getting notes, right? I did an experiment this year. I've never done like a web quest in my life. And I had a web quest where like kids, we were talking about aphorisms and they had to do some research on it. And I was like, just like, look it up from a credible source. And then you're going to fill in these notes. And it was an experiment in trying different ways to get kids to get the information, having kids work together. So like, I find that doing experiments in the class allows me to one, I realize that they're not all going to work, but if they do, I make a note and think, okay, this is the new way I'm going to do this because the old way isn't working. So
So let me
it's
ask you a
about
question.
experimentation. Yeah.
What do you do when you just have a student who just doesn't give a crap and still talks?
Then it's about having the
How do you have-
conversation. It's like, everyone stop. Here's what I'm seeing right now is that I'm trying to convey information that's particularly important for what we're doing next. I'm also trying to keep it short in 5 to 10 minute chunks with guided notes. But still, this is what I'm seeing. I am seeing multiple students off task. I'm seeing kids talking over me after I've repeatedly asked them not to do it. And so here's what's going to happen going forward. We are either going to work together to help you get an education, right? Because this isn't about me. It's not about me being teacher of the year. It's not about me winning. It's about me helping you to learn the skills you need to learn to do the best you can to become the person you're destined to become. So that's what I'm shooting for here. But if you were going to get in the way of that, you're not just getting in the way of me. What you need to understand is that you're getting in each other's way. There's someone in here that's not telling you, but they can't pay attention when you talk when they're trying to listen to me. That they can't write down while you're yapping on the side. So we're going to stop that by either contacting home, taking you out of class, or having a meeting after class about your behavior. And it's like really having like that direct of a conversation. And then the next time someone does it, I'm on it, man. I'm not playing. I'm not, hey, Jack, I'm going to give you one more chance. But I just told the whole class and I'm going to go into the whole lecture again. It's like, I'm giving you bro, here's how it's coming, right? Here's why we're doing what we're doing. Here's why it's important. I'm doing this out of care, but if you're going to get in the way of that, I'm going to call you on it. And then I really have to be a person of integrity. I have to do what I said I'm going to do and then do it. And then we move from there. And so I think that's how kids, learn. They're going to learn by you actually following through on your word. A lot of kids are talking when you're talking because they don't think that you're about it. They don't think like this is for everybody, right? They don't think that you're actually going to do the thing you said you're going to do. And I find that that is a source of trouble for so many teachers is they just don't do what they say they're going to do. And I've been guilty of this as well, right? Like you promised something, but then 17 other things came up. You couldn't follow through on it. But it's like following through on this thing that you said you're going to do goes really far.
All right, Matt, I hope that helps. Up next is Taylor asking thoughts on note taking. I'm teaching middle school and I try to model several different types for them. It's rough though. Lots of them will not review their notes to study unless me too.
So when I think of note taking, to me, it's really about thinking what's going to work best for kids, and it's different for each activity. Do I need kids to sit there and write pages and pages of notes? I don't know. Do I? So I've done, and look, some of this is like schools I've been at that I'm allowed to do certain things, but it's asking what's the most effective way to take notes, and then kids realizing that like the test is based in what we're doing, right? So I have to tell kids like when we take notes, so if we're doing stuff with vocab, it is handwriting it because you're far more apt to commit it to memory when you handwrite it. I then have been working with a select number of students that I take the vocab word and I have to help them come up with a way to memorize it, right? To remember what the definition was. And so it might be like, I'm trying to think of one, but it's like, maybe it's the way I write it, right? So last week a word was chasm, CHASM. So I wrote it with like a giant C, a giant H, a small a giant S, and a giant M, right? So it looked like there was like a canyon in the middle, which is a chasm. it might be a word like motif, and I show them an MC Escher piece of art that goes along with it, and the art is like butterflies, moths, and birds, I think, and it's like this ongoing motif, this repeatable pattern, and so motif sounds like moth, which helps you to remember that, right? So it's like finding different ways for them to do it. But so that is like writing it and creating an image that's going to attach it, like give you like a brain tattoo for it. Then other times, if it's for an author, I just do guided notes because I don't need you to read. I don't need you to write I don't need you to write William Golding was born in England it's like, bro, he was born in what? And at what time? Like, that's it, right? Like, I need you to write those things down. And then what I need to do is build in so there's all different ways that I do that, right? Sometimes it's annotating, right? So it's instead of writing notes, we are annotating things, whether it's they can do it in their book or I have photocopies of the book and they're doing it, or it's online and they're highlighting it like a Kindle or something like that, putting notes in there. It's finding what ways I think are going to work best for a situation. And then it's showing kids, like, it's the same way I have to get kids to actually read the rubric, right? Because kids see the whole rubric and I'm like, bro, who cares about one? If it's out of 6, who cares about 1 through 5? That's if you don't want to be excellent. Just look at 6. What are the 4 things it has to have for you to get an A, right? I want you to get 100. I don't want you to gear down. So what things do you need to do to get 100? And so it's holding up, like, if you look at the notes, here's the test. And so it's having kids sometimes do test corrections that are I don't give them full credit for that stuff either. Like, it's not like, hey, do test corrections and you'll get, like, you can get a better grade on your test. It's like, it can be an assignment, but what I want them to see is like this and this. The other thing is teaching kids how to study. And this is huge because everyone learns differently. So some kids can learn by reading notes. Some of your students aren't doing it because they're like, I read the notes. I read them 5 times. I don't remember anything because they're just reading them. They're not committing them to memory. So how can I sort of gamify that? How can I create, so I'll say it like this. I used to do vocab words on Monday, test on Friday, no review during the week. I would give them time to like look at their cards. But what I found is that if I started doing different games every day for 5 minutes, it was like we could move. And then here's how I would do it. Take words on simple note cards, word on one side, definition on the other with the part of speech and the sample sentence, right? On Tuesday, I want you to take 60 seconds, go through them, make a pile of these ones I think I knew when I did it, when I was testing myself. These ones I didn't know. They can also do it with a friend, right? So your friend tests you and you have 60 seconds. That's it. My job is to get more cards each day from the I didn't know pile to the I know pile. And so maybe that is through showing music videos. Maybe it's showing GIFs. Maybe it's showing memes. Maybe it's a scavenger hunt in the hallway. Maybe it's drawing things on your desk. Maybe it's building things out of Play-Doh. I'm trying to make that reading come alive through experience, right? So you did something with the word. So it's not just rote memorization. You're trying to use it in some way so that on Friday, we now have more words in the I know column than the I don't know column. And so to me, it's not just note-taking, it's teaching kids how to learn. It's teaching kids how to prepare for an assessment and how to study. I think it's all that kind of rolled into one. And that seems like a lot, but here's the last thing I'm going to say. The good part is doing a little bit of that gets kids to the better part. Almost every kid gets 100 in my vocab tests every week. Every single kid, even kids with learning disabilities. The only kids that don't are the kids that don't participate or like are lackluster in like even the game, like nothing's cool. It's like we could do like the most rad thing in class and they're just like, oh gosh, I didn't want to do this. And it's like, all right, bro, I don't have time for that. Because I got 74 other like 99% of the class is on board. I don't have time. I'm not Jesus out here looking for the one sheep and leaving the 99. So yeah. All right. Short question, long answer. That should have been the name of the podcast.
Yes.
Sure. Wow, really?
Yeah, you're wrong. Sometimes I'm like, we don't get through enough but they're thorough answers, I hope, for people.
Wife, You're supposed to support me on this show. We're online.
I'm supporting you.
We're on the
All
internet.
right. Shallon is up next asking, I teach multiple CTE courses in a day, advanced manufacturing, digital game design, computer science, and an after school FRC robotics
I can
club.
feel what the question's going to be. I already know. Go ahead.
I do not teach the same course for more than one class period per day and have multiple levels such as game development 1, 2, or 3 and mixed together in a period. I am struggling to prepare proper lessons with such a spread out workload while also trying to ensure I have a better understanding than my students on some of these topics. I found your lesson planning workshop very helpful, but I am struggling with so many different levels and topics in a day.
All right. This is one noted. Like anybody's going to have a hard time with this.
That's a lot of stuff you're teaching.
You're having a hard time because it's you, and it's like Shallon can't do this. It's like, no, it is. That's a heavy lift. For me, it's about a couple of things. And I'm sure I talked about this in the lesson planning workshop, but one is figuring out where you are and where you need to get to, and then reverse engineer that, right? So that each day we're actively working on something that's getting us to our goal by the time the goal needs to be done. That's one. And that's fairly simple. It's like take out a calendar, mark all the days, like here's spring break coming up. And if we have off for Easter also, because spring break doesn't align with Easter this year, or maybe Good Friday and whatever other days you have off, right? And then figuring out where we need to get to and then reverse engineering that. What that does for me so we'll say like for a book is I have to divide up the number of pages that we have to read every day to make sure that we can hit that goal. And so having that clear vision is where I start. The next thing I want to do is I don't want to make each class, I want to make each class like there are a set of activities that I do each day that I am like, so for this week, right? I didn't start lesson planning for this week yet. I typically do it after Sunday night teacher talk. I know that I have vocab. I know that I'm reading a book right now. I know that I need to do journals. And so I figure out my core things that I have to do, and then I chunk my class according to those. So I come up with a journal that I know is going to take 10 minutes. I then come up with, like, on Mondays, the meat of whatever we're going to do this week is, so this week is a little further on, like we're working more on characterization. So it's characterization. It's then chunking out. I have 20 minutes to read, and then I have maybe 5 minutes at the end of class to like, or maybe 10 to do something with that, right? So I'm going to have like, whether it's an exit ticket or it's individual practice or it's group work or whatever, I just then only have like journal, vocab, the meat of it, and then the student activity. So I have 4 things each day that I have to do. I find for me, it's almost like there's these placeholders now with rough amounts of time connected to it. And what that allows me to do is plan practically, because I'm not overwhelming myself with what to do. And so in some of your classes, can you do this with every class that you do? So every class you do gets this model that you come up with. And then it is sort of having it help, like putting in there what you need to put in there. Another practice that's I have found is incredibly useful is, and this works better, so it's going to be AI, but I find that using ChatGPT, now look, if you pay the $20 a month for ChatGPT, which I would argue, and I'm not affiliated with them, right? Like I don't have I'm not getting anything for this. I have it set up so that I just call it chat because we're on a first name basis. But chat remembers everything we talk about unless I tell it not to. So there's a temporary thing that we can do, but there's a ongoing conversation that we're having. Each week when I do lesson planning, I come up with my lesson plan. And if I'm stuck on something, I don't know how to get to something, I don't know how to get through something, I will ask it, and it pulls from all past knowledge that we've had a conversation about. so that it's like I'm building the AI that I want to work with. It knows who my inspirations are, what kind of teachers that I like, what kind of stuff I do in class. So it knows who I am. So it's not, if you just run a lesson plan through ChatGPT and it's the free and they don't know who you are, you're going to get the most generic thing ever. But it's about engineering a prompt and then engineering what I want to refer to as a relationship, even though that sounds super creepy. Then that takes the heavy lifting off of me. And sometimes it'll give me a lesson that's like about 75 to 80% good, right? And then I have to tweak it, but it's at least giving me a place to come from to tweak it. So when I have this with all kinds of activities, right? So like there's things in my class that it's like, here's the template, help me come up with an idea for like, I don't know, let's say, I don't know, it's a parent newsletter. Here's the 5 sections I need to fill in. Here's what I'm talking about this week. And I just yammer on and I use text to speech on my phone. And then that helps me do it. So that's a really, really short version. I really like it. It's hard to get into the weeds of that, even though there's more you could do. But I find that using something like, and I prefer ChatGPT, I know there's a number of other models out there, helps me to make sure I'm doing meaningful stuff in all those buckets each week. And I'm talking about lessons I've been teaching for years. I have fine-tuned to a great degree because it's a thinking partner for me. It helps me think of things I didn't think of before, I wouldn't have thought of on my own. So yeah, I hope that helps. Yeah.
I think in some of it, it's like you just have a heavy load. Like you're just teaching a lot. Like that's a lot of stuff and a lot of different things and a lot of variation between, you know, like you said, the development has first level students, second, third, like they're all at different levels in video game, but very cool stuff that your school gets. I mean, that is great awesome for your students. I wish our kids had that. Marley's actually taking dual credit at the college, and game design is she's like on that track for animation, gaming design, coding, and all of that stuff. It's been fun.
I don't think it's real quick.
I don't know if she'd
for
say
anyone
it's
that's
fun,
teaching such a full load. I don't think it is a weakness to tell your school that you need less stuff too. Like it's just too much.
I don't think admin always understands like how much preparation and work that is.
Unless you're a worksheet teacher.
Yes.
Right. If you're a worksheet, read the textbook, answer the questions.
But in this sort of work, you can't. It's
you can. Because I know people, we know people that teach that and they suck. And I'm going to be honest with it. But it's like, if you're going to be awesome, you need time, you need space to build things out, to create experiences for kids. And that means you need less stuff, which is why I would argue that I'm not sure if I want to teach seniors next year.
Yeah.
Even though they're now offering it to me, it's like, then I would be teaching 3 different preps next year. And I know a lot of people do that. I'm just not willing to do it. I can't teach the way I teach and teach that many preps and do all the other things that I do. It's just because something suffers because you're doing that. So it's really going to your admin and saying, like, it's also
important to utilize the tools that are available to you. So if ChatGPT is like you're not familiar with it, it's like it's worth it to become familiar with it, because not that you're giving it your work to do and it's in place of you, but it's a tool and a partner to use with you that will help reduce some of your workload. Because yes, you can sit there and think of it all on your own and plan it and do all this stuff, but that takes a lot of time. So if you can put a prompt in, a good long prompt that you're sitting here thinking out and working with ChatGPT, and it does a decent amount of the work for you, and then you're partnering with that, like you said, it buys back time.
I really thought about doing a workshop on that. I just didn't know if anyone would be interested.
We had a bunch of people that said yes, but it's like, again, another thing.
Yeah.
There's only 24 hours in a day.
There are.
Sometimes.
And some days there's less because of leap year.
Okay, thank you.
That might not even be true. I just made it up, but go ahead.
Okay, our next question comes from Parks. Based on thinking of making the rest of the year the best it can be, how do you brainstorm and come up with ideas? So happy to be joining the live when it's live.
All right.
Glad you're here.
Welcome, first of all. And I would say I have a couple of ways that I do it. Gosh, let's go in the weeds on this one. So one, Parks, it is, I try, oh gosh, this is so silly. I will start by, so look, I don't get inspiration all the time from other teachers. I get it from other places. So what I want to do is sometimes I consume a bunch of, it might be creative entrepreneurs. It might be books that I really love. It might be Instagram content, stuff on Pinterest, movies that I like that I'll watch like a scene from that put me in a state of like, I'm feeling creative, I'm feeling inspired, I'm feeling interested. And I want to create something interesting. So that's sometimes where I start, is like trying to cultivate that feeling. So I'm not starting from nothing. I'm like watching stuff and I'm like, oh man. So I'm going to mention a guy in the newsletter this week and give you a video of his that I think for me is like, when I'm thinking about creating a great classroom, his studio is like one of the places that really inspired me in the last couple of years since I found him. So one, there's that. Two, it's small tweaks, right? Small tweaks lead to giant peaks is what my pastor says. So what I'm trying to think of is like, how can I one up this scenario? So, and that is sometimes where the growth comes from. So last week I had this really, really quick idea. It was going to be, oh man, I should have put this in the newsletter. Maybe I'll put it in the next newsletter. Brody's video, right? So I had this idea that the kids had to take 4 vocab words. And so for my 10th graders, I was like, oh, you got to take 4 vocab words. You have to come up with a skit based on Lord of the Flies. Think of it as like this scene was left on the cutting room floor when they were making the book, right? So it didn't happen. We didn't see it in the book, but like, you're going to create a scene and you have to act it out in front of everyone, sort of like a whose line is it anyway thing, but you have to use 4 vocab words. And then I gave them, they had to pick random vocab words that we are using this week out of a hat. And then those are the ones that they had to figure out for. That developed into, then it became, oh, it would be fun if they could use props and stuff. So some of my girls were like, yo, Mr. Reynolds, do you have a conch shell? Do you have this? Do you have this? And I was like, oh yeah, we could do props. And then you could like act out with the stuff. But then we saw that they were laughing too much, right? They were like cracking each other up, which isn't a problem. I love laughing, but it was going to like kill the momentum of the moment of when they were acting out in front of one another. So it became a video project. And then that led into, when I went to my 11th grade, we were going to do the same thing, but we're doing like life lessons. We're reading Tuesdays with Maury. They were doing life lessons. So the short of it is we decided to have them make 80s to 90s style cheesy PSA videos that came out so good. It was like, bro, like these are excellent. And so it was like, that was part of it, was like trying to try something and then it just kept getting scaled up. Sometimes it comes down to saying yes to students. Like, Miss, can we go on a class trip? Mr. Reynolds, could we go see a college? Could we go do this? Could we try this? It would be awesome if we went outside. Like, and then going, can we do that? Why can't we do that? And so it's running with those ideas. And then here's the last thing I'll say. Start with something small. Think of something easy to do, easy to implement that you can sprinkle magic with in your classes. Maybe your class takes place in a different part of the building. Maybe you change your lights in your room and change your music when the kids are coming in to create anticipation. Maybe have someone zoom in and do it. Maybe set up a class trip. But it's starting somewhere small that builds the motivation in you and helps you start wondering, like, what's the next thing we could do? What's the next thing we could do? And then I find that really helps me as well.
Do you have any suggestions on how so you're going to sit at the end of the year, or you're going to start thinking about the end of the year? How are you going to start brainstorming at home when you're lesson planning, like how to make it the best end of year?
I think that there's something really to be said about ideation, sitting around and just thinking and wondering. So I'll do it, like I'm going to do it later on that whiteboard over there. It could be in a notebook. It could be on your phone. Just take a walk. It's like, go somewhere and you're not planning. You're just letting your mind wander and come up with ideas. That's what works for me. That's one of the things I do on airplanes all the time, is because it's like, I can't do anything else. Right? No, like sometimes you're in your office, and you're distracted by the stuff that's around you or whatever, or the kids come in. But where can I go? Can I go to a coffee shop? Can I go wherever and just wonder and let my brain just go and then bring something to just write those ideas down, because my brain is not built for storing stuff. It's built for creating ideas, not holding on to them. And then just write them all down and then see, like, could I make one of these come alive? And that's, I find that makes me even more creative when I'm doing that.
Do you get inspiration from any places like Pinterest, like scrolling?
Yeah, but that's what I was saying. It's like, going on Pinterest. I save a lot of Instagram. So if you're not doing this on Instagram, I would imagine you could do it on TikTok too, but I'm not on TikTok as much. I save posts and then I have folders for them. So it'll be like classroom ideas, life ideas, words of wisdom, relationship ideas. And so, because I got you in there, girl.
Thanks.
So it's like trying to save those, and then I'll go back to those, and it's like I'll get an idea for something, and it's, game on from there.
Yeah. Okay, great. Catherine is up next.
Sorry, I hit hair in your mouth.
That's okay. Thanks.
I got you, girl.
Catherine's up next asking, hey, CJ, what are your thoughts about tech versus traditional methods of teaching and student learning? We're having a large amount of students using AI on essays, and it's becoming a major issue.
So
also, I teach dual enrollment English and English 12.
Okay. So I think, I think whatever, tech is a tool. Teachers use it as a crutch, I think, a lot of times. So, I mean, and then it's like, what works? Like, if Kahoot works for your class, Kahoot your brains out, right? Just like go nuts. But like,
wait, I just want to pause because I think that's interesting that you said that when you say teachers use tech as a crutch, and it's like, but that's what you're modeling then to your own students. Like, so they're doing the same thing that teachers are doing. Students are then using tech as a crutch, not a tool.
All right.
Don't you think? If you're writing an essay,
you're talking about AI.
AI. I mean, that's what she's asking.
All right. So what I do is teach kids how to use AI.
Right. I understand. But I'm saying if teachers are using the tech in the same way, it's like you're not modeling a different way for your students to use technology. If you're using it as a crutch, they're also going to use it as a crutch, a way to just.
Well, then you have to, that's about you figuring out you.
Okay.
Like, how are you, like, I don't know what to tell you to do about that. Like, stop using it as a crutch and use it as a tool. Like,
I'm just saying, if you want a different outcome for your students, you have to model that also,
even
always. In your tech use.
You have to model it in everything.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask kids to be nice and work hard if you're not willing to be the nicest and work the hardest.
Yeah.
The end. If you want kids to be creative, be creative. If you want kids to be empathetic, show empathy to your students.
All right.
And so with AI, it is, I'm going to show them how I use it in lesson planning. I'm going to show them how I use it to create emails. But I'm not copying someone else's email. And like, so for business, I feel like I can tell people do this when they email me back. They will probably are like copying my email into ChatGPT and saying, answer this. And it's like, that's not how you use it. So can I teach kids to use AI to help them do research? So I have to find 7 different resources that are based on this. And here's all the ways that they need to the stipulations that the teacher is setting up for kinds of research resources that you need to use. And then let AI give you some of those. You still have to go and you still have to read them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You still have to figure it out. I find that doing it like that is fine. Now, look, if you don't want to have kids doing that, I don't think there's anything wrong with having them write stuff in class. Like I don't have, look, I think there's another argument for making homework not a thing. I mean, I already didn't do homework, but it's having kids do stuff in class and having them use the time that's in class. I think that those sorts of positive constraints are really good for kids because there's going to be times in your life where you don't have all the time that you need. You don't have all the time that you want. You're going to be in the office. Your boss is going to need something done by the end of the day, and you got to figure out how to crunch and get it done without cheating. And so how are you going to do that? And so having our kids do things in class. Now, I have a kid that has cheated using AI a bunch of times this year, and I have to show him how what you're doing is what the kids would refer to as AI slop, bro. You're giving me crap that AI made. So let me show you first how it's going to help you to set up an outline for an essay. What are the things that you need to improve? I think it's helping them to see how to use it as a tool and not as a crutch. And having real conversations with kids, Catherine, about what is the importance of what we're doing? Mm-hmm. Why you can't just outsource this to AI, because it's not like, because what are those skills we need kids to build? And I find that students understand that true belief of what we're doing and why they shouldn't cheat, that it matters. I would argue that most of my kids, if not all of them, are really reading my 11th graders are really reading the novel right now. But I think that's because we had a conversation on like why it's important to be reading this novel, man. And why don't just look up the answers online, and why this is like, we're reading this on purpose so we can have a transformative experience here. And yeah.
So I love John Lopez's comment. He said, Sweden is spending millions of dollars to scale back on tablets and laptops in primary schools. They are bringing back more physical books and handwriting. And I do agree, like when you talk, Catherine, about like tech versus traditional, I do agree that traditional is better. Pen and paper, like pencil and paper and writing and physical books and all of that stuff is way better than reading it online or a tablet or typing something. It's shown in studies to commit it to better memory. I think those are ways of not leaning on tech as a crutch for everything. It's like, no, those physical, tangible things I think help in education way more than we ever expected. And the data is showing that. But it's also paired with how do we use tech isn't going anywhere either, and you can't just ignore it. How do we use the tech as tools to aid in our learning, not just take it over?
Or asking yourself the question, is what I'm teaching still relevant?
Well,
like, is it relevant, right? But I think, and look, a lot of stuff is, but I mean, it's at some point learning how to make a fire with your bare hands was really important so you could light so you could see. And now I just flip on a switch. I do not know how to make a fire. Maybe we're using a magnifying glass, but it's like, really, is what I'm teaching still relevant? And I need to be able to know that so I can convey that to my students. And if it's not, it's something I have to have a conversation with myself about, or with my staff or my school board or whatever.
All right. We have two more questions that I want to get to. Jacob is next, asking, students say a teacher gives too many free days and simple packets without real instruction.
Amen.
They're worried that they won't be ready for the state tests. Should I step in? If so, how?
I would first get your students to advocate for themselves. It's awesome that they're asking you, Jacob, but you have to equip them with how to handle some of these problems in their life. And so should they go to the principal, to the board, to their parents, to the teacher? And what are we going to do? What's going to institute the change that we want to see without feeling like we're just trying to shame someone or blame someone or something like that? So what are we doing to help kids do the thing that needs to be done to institute change? It's a great it's a really great life lesson there. And they still have you to come back to. Here's what we did. Here's what we tried. Here's what we're doing. Here's what happened. And so you're still kind of coaching them through that as well. If that doesn't work, it's yes. It is. And I'm someone that, like, if I know the teacher well enough and I think it will be received, I could go talk to them. But by and large, that's an admin issue. And I would go to administration and talk to them, whether it's your head of curriculum or it's your principal or a dean. Yeah, but that's look, I'll say this, Jacob, that's awesome that kids are coming to you and bringing that up. That's so
The
sick.
fact that they want that is
Yeah.
awesome, I think.
Then it's also preparing kids for what is referred to as the back end of the blessing. Like, bro, if you want it to be on, it's going to be on. And so I'm not saying don't do it. Like, don't be afraid of hard. But it's, I guess it's not even warning them, Jacob. It's like you being ready to coach them through, like, oh my gosh, now we have to read 30 pages a night and do all this work. And we didn't have this to do before. And it's like, it's game on. But the other thing is, I think it's coaching kids through the way we get what we want from people is not always telling them what they do that we don't like and expecting them to do the opposite. It's affirming what they're doing well, and then that entices them to do more. This is like, research. There is research to support this. So it's when that teacher begins to, or when they occasionally do something well, the kids go, I love when you do that. I love when we talk about this. I love when we go deep like this. I love when we don't just do worksheets and we do this instead. That helps people to go, oh, okay, because they like the dopamine hit. They like the kids like their class, and they'll do more of it. Unless the teacher just sucks, and in which case, that's when you have to have administration stuff.
I don't know if you said this because I'm also reading stuff in here,
Yeah.
but did you say that can the kids get together and go to the administration?
Yes.
And did you say
That's
that?
what I was saying. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
helping them to advocate for themselves.
Yeah. That's
All right. You said you had one more?
Yeah, but first I just want to say thank you so much to all the people who have been giving super chats.
Oh,
Alan,
nice.
thank you so much. Tristan, and your question is coming up. And Catherine, y'all, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That really makes a difference. It's like,
Yes, it all adds up. Tristan is up next asking, students are building, this is a multi-parter, students are building gym benches and progress has been good, but much of the usable wood is harder, meaning students need to pre-drill and drill multiple times.
Yep.
What are effective ways to encourage students to follow proper drilling steps when the process takes long and can feel repetitive? This is kind of a two-parter in one. Do you want to do that one first?
Yeah. So it's what I talk to kids about doing that when I would have students, like when I ran a maker space at my old school, is it's either hard on the front end or hard and frustrating on the back end. And so choose your hard. So if you don't pre-drill and you're using something like a 2x4 that is typically made of pine or spruce, and you don't pre-drill that, it's going to crack. And now you have to deal with, how am I, now I have to drill somewhere else. Now it looks unattractive. Now maybe that piece of wood isn't even useful anymore. And now we're wasting stuff.
Or you have to fill it and repair the crack, and that takes longer.
That's one. Two is teaching about, are you using the right settings on the drill? Like, is the torque right and things of that nature? Are your drill bits sharp? So, because those things wear out over time, and then it just like starts smoking and you can't get through all the way. Are they like taking the drill and going in and out? Like teaching some of those techniques and then praising them when they do. When you're doing the right thing. I see you over there being safe. I see you over there doing the right thing. Those sorts of things help as well. But it's like, I would say by and large, it's gonna be hard either way, right? But that's part of doing good work, is the details, and taking time to do it right on the front end prevents frustration, aggravation, and waste on the back end.
Okay, so third question is,
yes,
I had that up there. What is the best painting method for student-built benches to ensure durability and a good finish in a school shop setting? I'm considering spray paint outdoors in winter, but I'm unsure about drying time, finish quality.
That's going to be a nightmare.
Yeah, definitely just paint it.
Yeah, paint it and make sure you're look at the temperature on the back of the paint. Make sure that your paint is stored somewhere that can do that. Make sure that always you're using drop cloths. Like, just get those cheapo clear drop cloths you're going to, yeah, that's what I would use. I used to use like tablecloths from the dollar store, and they rip super easy. Have a tarp down, have kids painting, show them how to paint, make sure that it's not going on too thick, and that's going to work better. Spray paint, you're not going to get the coverage that you want. Kids go too close, too far away. Their spray gets all over the place. Yeah, it drips. It's like, it's a mess. And if you really want to pare down your time, get a paint and primer in one. It'll stop the paint from soaking into the wood, especially if you're using MDF like we talked about last week. It'll stop that from happening, and you'll get more out of it's more expensive, but you're going to get more bang for your buck, and it'll actually end up being more cost effective and far more time effective as well.
Is there a certain finish that you would recommend?
I use eggshell for everything.
Yeah.
I think because you can clean it and it doesn't scuff as easy as like a flat.
I would go
lot.
even a step above and do satin.
Yeah.
I feel like satin is a little bit more
Yeah, you're
durable
probably right.
and scrubbable than eggshell is. They have new ones that you can do flat that are more durable, but they're more expensive.
Yeah. And don't buy the cheapest paint.
Semi-gloss is just kind of
So like at Home
ugly.
Depot, they have like Gildan or whatever, and don't buy that. Buy like at least a step up from that,
middle of the
because
road.
you're gonna get what you pay for that. And then with kids, don't buy expensive rollers and brushes, because they're just not going to love them like you will. So just get like, that is somewhere you can save money and just get cheap crap.
Tristan said he's waiting for the second channel. Build your class off.
Yeah. For real.
Oh,
I love making building videos and stuff like that. I mean,
it's our biggest video on YouTube, is it not?
That and how to make a concrete pot.
That's a building one.
That was a test video when we started the channel. I made a video on how to make concrete pots.
Yes.
And it crushed.
It did. All right. I think we're caught up.
That's okay,
it for
cool.
questions.
Well, look, guys, we really do like love all this stuff. It's really the best, and I appreciate it. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, I just wrote it today. It will come out this week. So there's going to be, I promised this last week, but it's really come out this week. Free Friday reflection, a classroom management audit, and a couple of individuals that I think are really going to inspire you in the classroom, especially in this time of the year, where I realize not everybody is going to have a 79-degree Monday with blue skies like we have here in New Mexico. I'm not flexing, but it's, back in Philly, it's still 30 degrees today and dark and cloudy. So making the year the best of your year is making those small tweaks that are going to lead to the giant peaks. And it's about like consuming stuff. I think that is inspiring to you. With that, here's a QR code, because you should have, as I say every week, you should have it come to your school. Scan it, get all the information you need. We'll see you next week. Peace.